I'm so sick of Brett Kavanaugh and the machinations of the Republican Party, the American Fascist Party, in what they're doing. I mean, it's not surprising. These sons of bitches will do anything to get another fascist on the Supreme Court. That will give them a fascistic majority for the next at least 25 or 30 years. And the shit that the Republicans are pulling is just unreal, starting with the refusal to even give Merrick Garland a hearing after Barack Obama had nominated him all those years ago when Scalia went to the great Catholic shithole in the sky, right? So Mitch McConnell and these Republican devils, they waited and waited and waited and waited, and then with help from their Russian allies, their fascist Russian allies, they got this fucking Trump in, and now Trump has put this Kavanaugh freak up, and now this woman has come forward who talked about almost being raped by the son of a bitch, and what are the Republicans on the Judiciary Committee? They're all saying, oh, what a tragedy it is for poor Brett Kavanaugh and his poor old lady and his poor family. Oh, Jesus Christ, to go through this. Well, you dirty sons of bitches, what about Dr. Ford? What about the woman who had to put up with this groping, slobbing son of a bitch trying to get in her pants 36 years ago? And I don't give a fuck, it was 50 years ago. It doesn't make any difference. But the way these Republicans are talking about this, she doesn't exist. Now, she does exist to the usual pack of rancid bastards out there, the attack dogs in the American Fascist Party, who have now forced the woman and her kids to move out of their fucking house to avoid the death threats and the bomb threats and the emails she's gotten calling her everything except a human being. You dirty fuckers. Boy, I'll tell you, the people who do this, I hate realizing that I share the same nationality with you pigs. And to tell you the truth, I mean, I go crazy like this. I really do. I just wish some kind of a plague would sweep through this country that only attached itself to right-wingers. I know, it's fantasy bullshit. And that once they contracted this plague, all of a sudden, they wouldn't have a mouth anymore. Be like those horror stories like the labyrinth, Pan's Labyrinth. Remember that creature down there? Had fingers on the tip, eyes on the tips of his fingers. He didn't have a mouth, did he? Oh, palm of his hand, that's right. Did he have a mouth? I don't remember either. That was a pretty horrible creature. Huh? But seriously, you people are so disgusting, you right-wingers, you devils who would attack a woman like this. But that's what you fuckers do. That's what you do. Make her life miserable. Threaten to burn her house down. Threaten to kill her. Threaten her children. You it just freaks me out. I have to share geography with you. Scum. But anyway, all this talk, too, about Kavanaugh, about, well, I believe in settled law, you know, I this, I that, where it concerns Roe v. Wade. Fucking liar. And by the way, who do you think is lying? Do you think a woman like Dr. Ford would put herself and her family through this for a lie? She has nothing to gain by lying. Kavanaugh has everything to gain by lying. He is a liar, just like the person who nominated him. Michelle Goldberg, a couple of days ago, she wrote this. She writes that shortly after Trump's inauguration in this country, all of a sudden had the door open to fascism. She writes, shortly after his inauguration, Trump, uniquely attentive to his debt to the religious right, appointed an anti-abortion activist, one of these Christian fuckwads, E. Scott Lloyd, to head something called the Office of Refugee Resettlement. Now, E. Scott Lloyd had no experience, but he was vomited up in Trump's presence by these Christian sons of bitches. So Trump, being Trump, hired him. He gave E. Scott Lloyd the authority to make decisions about unaccompanied minors caught crossing into the United States. I'll bet this fucker's a child molester. What do you want to bet? And how did Mr. E. Scott Lloyd use that new authority? He used it to try to stop pregnant migrants who had come to this country, didn't realize they were pregnant, they got here, oh my God, from getting abortions. Last year, and you probably will remember this story, and this has to do with E. Scott Lloyd. Last year, a 17-year-old girl from Central America had to wage a legal battle to terminate her pregnancy. She was known in court filings as Jane Doe. I talked about this on the podcast, I remember. And the girl learned she was pregnant while she was in custody in Texas. And she was adamant that she wanted an abortion. In keeping with the parental consent law in Texas, she didn't have parents. She got the permission from a Texas judge. And she was helped in that process by a legal organization called Jane's Due Process. That organization raised money for the abortion, which was scheduled for the end of her first trimester. But under E. Scott Lloyd's nasty fucking Christian intervention, the shelter where she was being detained refused to cooperate. So she went back to court, and a federal judge again ruled in her favor, issuing a temporary restraining order against the Trump crime organization. The Trump crime organization appealed the ruling. Now keep in mind what this is about. A 17-year-old non-American citizen who discovers she's pregnant, she's in fucking custody, there's no knowing when she'll ever get out. It's her first trimester, she wants an abortion, which is legal in this country. The Trump fuckers appealed, and the case, it was titled Garza versus Hagen. Garza is the 17-year-old girl. The case went to a 3-judge panel of the Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. One of the judges was Brett Kavanaugh. Now remember what this lying son of a bitch said during his Senate testimony. Garza versus Hagen is the only major abortion rights case Kavanaugh has ever ruled on. And the way he handled the case offers a clue about what's in store for American women if this son of a bitch is confirmed on the Supreme Court. Now, obviously, as Michelle Goldberg points out, no one knows for sure, okay, whether Kavanaugh would vote to overturn Roe v. Wade outright or simply gut it. But even on this lower court that he was on, D.C. Circuit, he put arbitrary obstacles in the way of someone's desperate attempt to end her pregnancy. And thanks to this piece of shit in the presidency, Kavanaugh may soon be in a position to do the same to millions of others.